I am using this Motorola Edge 70 Fusion as my primary device for more than a month now. I'm thoroughly testing it and keep updating on this channel. During the testing, I noticed so many positive things and some negative things about this mobile phone. In this video, you are going to see my full in-depth review of this mid-range mobile from Motorola. And at the end, I will also tell you whether this is good or not for the price. So let's start first with a glance at the unboxing. In the box, we get a 68-watt charger, a Type-C to Type-C cable, a SIM ejector tool, some paperwork and stickers along with the mobile phone. There is no TPU back case provided in the box and even no screen protector either. Talking about the display, this is a quad curved panel with less curves on the top and bottom sides. It is comfortable to hold and use with a single hand thanks to the curved back and fabric texture design. It provides a nice grip to hold. You can easily access almost more than 75% of the screen space with a single hand. The weight of this mobile is only 193 grams. One more variant is there with 177 grams. I'll tell you the difference in the battery and charging section. This is a 6.78-inch AMOLED screen with a screen to body ratio of around 91.3%. So you observe slim bezels all over the screen. And this is a HDR10 Plus panel. So the watching experience is next level on this mobile phone. On YouTube, we can watch HDR videos up to 4K, but on Netflix, HDR playback is not supported. This display is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 7i and IP68/IP69 dust tight and water resistance is also there. But still, I recommend a glass protector if you drop mobile a lot or a screen guard if you want to avoid scratches. This display brightness goes up to a peak of 5200 nits, which is very comfortable to use in direct sunlight or outdoors. One day I used this mobile most of the time for Google Maps in peak sunlight. The brightness levels were very comfortable and even the mobile phone didn't get any overheating. Thanks to the vapor cooling chamber, I'll talk more about that in the processor section. We also get the feature of extra dim to decrease the brightness even more in low lighting conditions. When it comes to the touch response rate, it is very good. This supports up to a 144Hz refresh rate. Everyday usage feels smooth. The app opening and closing animations are also smooth. This mobile phone comes with an under-display fingerprint sensor to unlock the device and it works pretty well. Also, we get NFC in this mobile phone, but there is no eSIM support for this model. And one more thing, the stereo speakers are also good, but if you are playing above 85% volume, you may notice a vibration-like effect on the back middle area. I can say the bass is more. If you add a case, it may go away. One more issue I observed is that during low light conditions, the automatic brightness sensor calibration is not good. When it comes to the vibration and haptics, they are on the harder side and we can expect the same thing in any mid-range category mobile phone. And one more thing I observed, if you go to the settings, sound and vibration and ringtone section, as you can see here, there are very limited ringtones. What's wrong with Motorola? Of course, this is not a serious problem, but having more ringtones would make sense. Next, there are no signal drops I noticed. I used both 5G Plus and Wi-Fi during my testing with a single SIM card. Not even once did I observe any issues to share here, guys. Of course, there are no call drops either. So overall, the display is one of the strongest point of this mobile phone apart from some minor problems. Next, talking about the cameras, because even for mid-range mobile phones, we can expect decent camera quality nowadays. I already posted a dedicated video about the camera review of this mobile phone. You can check that later for more in-depth details. I'm just here telling you the overall verdict. These cameras perform really well in outdoor conditions, especially during daytime. The photos look good up to 2x zoom range. And beyond that, it loses detail and over-process the image. For videos, we can shoot up to 4K 30 FPS from back and front-facing cameras. The video quality is also good if you record at minimum zoom levels. Especially the quality from the back camera is better than the front-facing camera. I even uploaded a short video about how good this mobile phone is for content creation. You can clearly see the difference there. I observed that the colors from the back camera are better compared to the front-facing camera. We also get a lot of options and features in the camera app, but still we don't get any dedicated gallery app. This is going to be an argument. Some people are okay with Google Photos, but some like me, wants a dedicated gallery app to organize media files. I checked any wobbling effect is there while typing on flat surface. The answer is no. The weight distribution and design are very good on this mobile phone. For reference, you can check the S25 FE and this mobile side by side. As you can see, the wobbling is noticeable on the S25 FE way higher. Next, for nighttime photos and videos, it struggles a lot. Even when you are recording videos, it struggles and hunts for focus. This happens even during daytime when an object is too close to the camera. So, if you are someone who wants to click and record photos and videos only in daytime conditions without zooming beyond 2x, yeah, you can consider this mobile phone. For content creators also, I suggest this mobile phone for the price, but either record videos in outdoor conditions like proper lighting or in indoors with proper external lights. If you want to know more in-depth details about the photos and videos in daytime and nighttime conditions, check out the dedicated camera review video. I added all the links in the description box and comments. So overall, the camera is a mix of positives and negatives in this mobile phone. Next, talking about the battery backup and charging speeds, this is where this mobile outperforms others in this price range. This one comes with either a 7000 mAh or 5200 mAh silicon carbon battery according to the region. I am using the 7000 mAh variant. Due to the battery difference, the overall weight of the mobile phone is also changes. That's why it weighs slightly higher than the lower battery variant. The battery backup on this mobile phone is amazing. For a single 100% charge, I'm getting anywhere from 2 to 3 days with normal usage. Even if I use it heavily like recording videos or playing games, it can easily last one full day with still enough juice for the second day. The screen on time I'm getting is also very good. These days I'm getting close to 9 hours with more than 2 days of backup on a single charge. Next, talking about the charging speed, first of all, thanks to Motorola for keeping the charger in the box. This one supports a maximum of 68 watt wide charging, which is very good for this massive battery size. I uploaded a dedicated charging test video where I showcase how much it charges for every 10 minutes. You can check that video later for more details. All I can say is that the battery backup and charging speeds both are the strongest points of this mobile phone. By the way, there is no wireless charging support on this model. Next, talking about the chipset and heating, this is also very good. I'm very much surprised here. Even for the chipset, it varies by region. You get Qualcomm Snapdragon 7S Gen 3 4nm build for the international variant or Snapdragon 7S Gen 4 4nm build for India. The main difference is in the core speeds, 2.5 GHz for the international and 2.7 GHz for the Indian variant. I even ran CPU throttling for more than 10 minutes. The performance and stability are very good. You won't find any issues for basic usage. You can play high-end games, but you may notice some heating and frame drops depending on graphic settings. For 95% of users, this chipset is very good for day-to-day tasks. You won't find any lag or delay in opening or switching applications. Next, coming to heating, this is also surprised me. I didn't find any overheating issues in this mobile phone, guys. Yes, the mobile gets warm with heavy usage or under strong sunlight, but that warmth is manageable. Even you can attend calls too. You can even do light editing without compromising the speeds. The vapor cooling chamber is really helping here. Even after the initial setup, there were no heating issues, which usually happens with some Samsung mobile phones. Next, talking about software UI and updates, this comes with Android 16 out of the box with Hello Moto UI. The UI looks almost like clean Android with some useful added features. We get app lock, secure folder, Motorola gestures, Smart Connect, and many more customizations. Talking about the updates, Motorola says this model will get 3 years of major Android updates and 5 years of security updates. But I still have concerns about the update quality. In the past, some updates have caused issues in certain models. I hope that doesn't happen with this one. For 2 to 3 years, this mobile phone is a good choice, I can say. Next, talking about the pricing and whether it is good or not, here it is. At the time of recording this video, this is available for around 27,000 Indian rupees. And there are card offers going on where you get an additional discount of 2,000 rupees to 2,500 rupees. I hope similar offers are available outside India as well. So the question is, for this price range, is this mobile good or not? The straight answer is yes, it is good, guys. I'll tell you at a glance so that you can understand much better what are the positives and negatives in this mobile phone. First, when it comes to the good things, Display is good, battery backup is good, charging speeds are good, overall weight is also good, and the look and feel of this mobile phone is better. The only drawback I noticed here is the camera. Camera is the only area where it disappoints you. Since I'm using the S25 FE, these cameras are way better than this mobile phone. I noticed the differences when I'm going out and clicking some random photos. Yes, there are some minor issues, but they are not the deal breakers, I can say. So if I have around 25,000 rupees budget and want a lightweight mobile phone with great battery backup, good display and charging speeds, I would definitely choose this mobile phone. On the other hand, if camera is my main priority, then I would definitely think again and consider alternatives. So yeah, that's my full in-depth review of the Motorola Edge 70 Fusion. There are many positives and some negatives in this mobile phone. I believe Motorola is trying to bring good features at competitive prices, which many other brands are not doing that. Anyways, time will answer everything, even for this brand also. Just we need to wait and see. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified about upcoming videos. See you in another video.